All right. Mighty companions, this is Earl Purdy, and I want to welcome you to our course in miracles. And today we're going to talk about healing and wholeness. We're going to start one of the most powerful, most important chapters of the course that I want to go through, and it has to do with how do you have healing in every area of your life? How do you experience healing and wholeness? So we're going to start out with our brother John Christmas at johnchristmas.com with our theme song, which is, I am not, I repeat, I am not a victim of the world I see. Here we go. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no. Say what? Of the world I see. I want you to pay particular attention to what's being said. I'm not a victim of my mom. I'm not a victim of my pa. I'm not a victim of events or circumstance at all. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. I'm not a victim of the future, not a victim of the past, not a victim of anything that really doesn't last. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. I'm Earl Purdy. I want to welcome you to A Course in Miracles here on Facebook Live. We're going to talk about how you experience a healing. If there's any area of your life, any area of your being that you need a healing, we're going to talk about it in chapter 5, and that ain't no jive. I'm not a victim of the North. I'm not a victim of the South. Not a victim of anything, so what comes out my mouth, I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. Help me out now. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. You don't have to believe the ideas. You don't have to accept the ideas. You don't have to believe the ideas. You don't have to accept the ideas. You don't have to welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. What's happening is what I've done to me. What's happening is what I've done to me. That includes all the good stuff. That includes coming here today. That includes letting yourself hear some loving thoughts today. So that's happening to you because of the choices that you're making. You know, I love A Course in Miracles with all my heart and all my soul. And the Course in Miracles in the last 41 years has saved me so much drama and so much pain. that I cannot even put it into words. But what I love about it, it also tells you exactly what you're going to do to try to keep yourself from being happy. The Course in Miracles tells you 2 rules. It gives you the rules for happiness and it gives you the rules for unhappiness. It tells you exactly, if you want to be unhappy, you are in luck. This book tells you exactly what you need to do and not do to be miserable. So those of you who think you need to be miserable and suffer and stuff, then you are right in the right book. Because it will tell you exactly what to do that causes your suffering. And all you got to do is just do it. Okay? And then those of you who want to go beyond suffering, those of you who also want to have joy, and want to have happiness, and want to have peace, and want to have abundance, the Course in Miracles tells you exactly how to do that. And what's really cool about it is that it shows you how you can be completely satisfied and completely happy, and it would have absolutely nothing to do with anything that's going on in your life in the outer world. I'll say this again. The Course in Miracles shows you how to be happy even if you get what you want, but the Course in Miracles also teaches you how to be happy if you don't get anything that you think you want the way that you want it. Because a really good teaching is going to be a teaching that's a win-win for you either way it goes. So a win-win would be for me to be happy if I get that relationship and happy if I don't get that relationship. Me to be happy if I got that job and me to be happy if I didn't get that job. It would be a win-win if I could keep my peace if I was sick and if I was healthy. It would be a win-win if I could keep my peace if I am in a situation or circumstance that I think I don't want to be in, as well as being in one that I think I do want to be in. No truly conscious being still believes that getting the thing outside of themselves in and of itself is what's going to make them happy. And a truly conscious being knows how to be happy when they have the things they think they want outside themselves. Have y'all noticed the pattern in what I'm saying? The pattern in what I'm saying is you have happiness no matter what. You have peace no matter what. So the Course says, if you want to get this, I'm the divine repetition teacher. I'm the remembering coach. The Course in Miracles teaches that the way that you allow yourself to have the results and the effects that it wants to give you in terms of happiness and joy calls for 2 things. Remember what it says. Remember what it says. Remember what it says. Read it and remember what it says. Listen to it and remember what it says. Remember what it says. It says, because if you remember what it says, you're much more likely to do what? You are much more likely to apply something that you remember. If I remember how to drive a car, I'm much more likely to drive it home. But if I forgot how to drive a car, what do you think would happen if I got behind the wheel? I'm likely to have an accident. Why? Because I don't remember how to drive. So to say that you read or study the Course, yet you don't remember specifically anything that it says, it's like saying you're going to drive a car and you've forgotten everything about driving the car. So I'll say it to you again, Course in Miracles students. Listen to me. You're talking to a guy that's been doing this for decades. Stop analyzing the Course in Miracles. Stop analyzing the Course in Miracles. Stop analyzing the Course in Miracles. Did I say stop analyzing the Course in Miracles? Stop analyzing the Course in Miracles. It's already said also that you are likely to be advised by the part of your mind that doesn't want you to be happy to forget this or go to sleep or just die. That's what the book says. So as a Course in Miracles teacher, I am not at all surprised when people do what? Go to sleep or zone out or don't listen, because the book has already told me what? The book has told me that it's told me everything everybody's going to do. It tells you exactly what a person's going to do and how they're going to act when they're afraid of you and they don't love you. And it tells you exactly what a person is going to do and how they're going to act and how to think if they do love you and they do appreciate you. It's not one single thing you could bring up to me that I could not go to a section of the Course in Miracles and find the answer that relates to whatever you are talking about. Okay, so I'm going to say that to you again. There's not anything you can come up with that you think is your issue or your problem that I cannot tell you what area of the Course in Miracles tells you exactly how to look at that and how to deal with that. There is no excuse for continuing unhappiness and continuing dissatisfaction and continuing anger, guilt, and grievances. But if you find that your dedication is weak and your resistance is strong, what did the Course in Miracles say you should do? Don't fight yourself. You're not ready. You're not ready. That's all it means. Doesn't mean you're bad. It just means you're not ready for this particular curriculum yet. So I'm going to start, we're going to be on page 72, chapter 5, Healing and Wholeness. Chapter 5, Healing and Wholeness. Chapter 5, Healing and Wholeness, in the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles. And we're going to be on page 72, chapter 5, Introduction. On my Thursday night Hardcore Course in Miracles group, I'm going through the chapter that is about the ego. And it describes in detail in chapter 4 everything you really want to know about how the ego, which is the part of the mind that is full of fear and anger and a sense of separation, your everyday programmed self from the world. Okay, it tells you exactly how your wrong-mindedness works, exactly what causes fear, anger, guilt. It tells you exactly how the ego operates. And then chapter 5, which is the one I'm starting in here, it's about how your loving right mind, how the Holy Spirit, how your right mind operates. So one chapter is how your wrong mind operates that causes you pain. And then chapter 5 is how your right mind operates, the Holy Spirit, that causes you love and joy. Why? Because it teaches if you can tell the difference between the two, what causes you happiness and what causes you pain, and you're clear about that, what do you think a wise person is going to do if they have a choice between the two? Choose one. They're going to choose the one that causes joy. Now, if you're a person that you've gone through a lot of pain and a lot of upset and a lot of worry in some way, then you're probably doing exactly what the Course teaches in chapter 4, the illusions of the ego, is saying that you're doing. And so instead of fighting that, just go, okay, I need to know what I'm doing to sabotage and hurt myself. I need to know what my blocks are, what my obstacles are. And then I need to know how my right, loving, sane mind operates. And then I'm going to start choosing to listen to the voice that's speaking for my sane mind instead of listening to the voice that's listening to the insane mind. And just like a person who's trying to have sobriety and goes to an AA meeting, in the beginning, while you're trying to use your sane mind and your loving mind, you might have to not hang out so much with the people that represent your particular addiction or whatever the thing is that's making you be unhappy, sad, and separate. So for a while, you might have to move away from people who are thinking the way you're trying to let go of while you're trying to become strong in your new way of looking at things. And then when you become strong in your new way of looking at things, not only will you be able to be around the people who are still looking at things in a negative, fearful way, you will be able to be around them, not lose your positivity, and be an instrument for them to wake up to their joy and their right way to look at each other, which I think is what happens with AA in terms of sponsors, right? Usually there are people who have gone through the situation. Now they've gotten rooted in their sobriety. And what are they able to do? Help those who are now trying to do it. So that separation that I'm talking about from people who are not thinking the way you now want to think is giving you an opportunity to become strong in your new belief system. So I'll say it again. And the best way not to hear people talk who you don't really want to hear what they got to say is you don't say anything to them. Because people have the habit of engaging you in conversation when you engage them in it. So if you're not going to say anything to me that I really want to hear that's going to help me become more conscious, and I know you still see yourself as a victim and you're still angry at everybody and you're still blaming everybody, then I am not going to really want to engage you in a conversation about any of that kind of stuff. I might say, let's go to a movie, let's go for a walk in the park, let's do anything else other than talk about our belief systems about life. because you are going to talk from the perspective of a victim, and I don't want to live my life that way anymore. So what does that mean? You're telling me about all the things that's going on the outside of you that's causing you to go through what you're going through. You're seeing yourself as at the effect of everything that's happening to you. Okay, I think that way, and I'm trying to learn not to think that way. So talking to you really isn't helpful. And the Course in Miracles says, do you know that value is what's helpful? Whatever is helping you is valuable, and whatever is not helping you is not valuable. And that's always relative to what your goal is. So the most important thing is to get clear on what you want. Then you'll be able to evaluate situations that you're in easier. If I want peace, and your butt, every time I talk to you, you're talking about what you're upset about, and that's all. Don't get me wrong. It's one thing to talk about what you're upset about and say, let me take that thing to the truth, and can you show me how I can apply the truth to it? Then you constantly complaining and wanting to be right about the position that you're in that's causing you upset. That's two different things. So when I say don't want to be around a person that's full of complaints and anger, it's a person who wants to be right in that position. But if that person said to you, I feel this way, and is there anything in the Course in Miracles, for instance, that I could read or study, or is there anything we could go over together that would help me get past this? Now that person is using their problem to take them beyond the problem, and that's the right perception of a problem. But the people that just want to talk about it, and then the minute you say, let's focus in on the truth, and they oh, I don't have time for that, I got to go right now, or they zone out, or they don't want to read or study or listen, then from a Course in Miracles perception, that person is not valuable. Valuable in terms of what? Your goal. Your goal. So now, when you read the Course in Miracles, those of you, I want to help you with this because I've been doing this so long. The Course in Miracles assumes you don't know anything that it's talking about. So therefore, if you keep reading instead of stopping and trying to analyze it, it will give you another way of looking at what it just said. It's going to show you how to get beyond what it's just said. I repeat, if you're trying to read the Course in Miracles and you don't understand something that you just read, do not stop and try to analyze that meaning based on your own personal learning from the past. You keep on going ahead reading. It's going to restate what it said so many different times that one of those times is going to probably click for you and you'll get what it's talking about. I repeat, what did I say, boys and girls? If you are studying the Course in Miracles and you come up on something you don't understand, do not stop and try to analyze it based on your personal experiences and conditionings. Okay? I really want you to hear this because I want to help Course in Miracles students stop wasting so much time. You don't have to wait 5 years to be happy. You just need to do what you're told in order to be happy. And if you don't want to be happy and you want to be right more than you want to be happy, then you can keep how you're feeling and feel right about it. You can keep your anger and feel right about it. You can keep your upset and feel, if you want to be right more than you want to be happy, then have at it. I promise you, I'll say it again, especially if you're here for the first time. The only guidelines to the Course in Miracles is this. You don't have to believe a doggone thing you hear me say today. You don't have to accept anything that you're hearing me say today. You don't have to even welcome anything you hear me say today. And I guarantee you some of the things I say you may resist and it may not go along with what you already believe. And some of the things I say may startle you, that they're so different from the way you've been programmed to think that you get startled. How many people in here are willing to admit that there are as many different points of view as there are people on the planet? All right. So therefore, you're just hearing what? Another point of view. Okay? Which you can do two things to. What is that? You can accept it or you can reject it. Now, here's the deal about something that's true. And I'm going to use my favorite example because I'm the divine repetition teacher. So I'm going to give you the example. Is gravity affected by your moods in the morning? So whether you wake up in a good mood or a bad mood, will gravity still work?
Yes.
Right? If you trip, you don't fall up. Right? So gravity doesn't care what you believe about it. Gravity doesn't care what religion you grew up in, what your race is, what your sex is, what your programming is. None of that matters to gravity. Gravity is not going to go, hey, Earl is extraordinarily handsome. He's just much too handsome to be injured when he falls. So I'm not going to let this dude fall. But the mole, on the other hand, are you kind of getting my point? My point is, and does gravity change from day to day? No. You count on the gravity being here tomorrow just like gravity is here today. And that's what the Course in Miracles says. Anything that's true, anything that's real, is something you can count on. It's consistent. It's going to always be there, and you could never lose it. That's how you can define something that's real from what's not. And then it goes, now when I say something is unreal, or when you hear the Course in Miracles say this is an illusion, or this is unreal, what he's saying is, from a Course in Miracles perspective, he's saying that this thing is not permanent. That's its definition of illusion. If reality is something that's always there, then an illusion would be something that's not always there. See, that's too simple. Because if that definition is true, what does that say about the world we're in? Right? If what's real is what's permanent and what's unreal is what's temporary, and you're in a world where everything is temporary, that's a very thought-provoking statement. But it doesn't mean, obviously it doesn't mean you're not experiencing yourself right now. Obviously it doesn't mean that your car that you're driving out there, you're not experiencing it as a car that's real. But ask yourself honestly, will that car be here 3,000 years from now? And you're feeling guilty about stuff that nobody will even remember, including you when you probably get a certain age. So don't worry. Forgiveness is kind of built into the system because you'll probably get to some point you don't even remember. Have you heard about some people having grievances with people and they have this grievance and it's been so long they don't even know what started it? Yeah. Right. They just want to be separate. So then the Course in Miracles says, you're not asked, and this really trips people out, says you're not asked to judge the ideas at all. You're not asked to judge the ideas at all. In other words, nobody's asking you to judge it. I'm not here for you to judge me. That's not what I'm interested in people coming to my class for, so they can judge me. He says your analyzation of it is not going to show you that it's true. He says, but if you use it, then the ideas will show you that they're true if you use the ideas. One other thing, the Course in Miracles' goal is peace of mind. I repeat, the Course in Miracles' goal is not for you to make $1 million a day and become a multimillionaire or not to become a multimillionaire. The Course in Miracles' goal has nothing to do with anything you're trying to manifest physically in the world. The Course in Miracles teaches that everything in the world is neutral. You can manifest a house, you can manifest a car, you can manifest a degree, you can manifest the love of your life, you can manifest the weight you want to have, you can manifest anything in the physical world. But how much enjoyment you have from it is going to be determined by your internal values and the meaning that you give to it. Can we come into agreement about that? Yeah. You know people with houses that are happy in their houses, and you know people with houses that are miserable with their houses. In my 40 years of doing this and traveling and speaking around the world, I have seen people who had a tremendous material wealth and were miserable, and I've met people who have tremendous material wealth and they're partying like a big dog. I mean, they're kicking it up and they're having a great time. I've seen people who were materially poor that were 10,000 times happier than people who had a lot more than they do materially. And I've seen people who were materially poor who were miserable. So what does that prove? It doesn't matter which one of those you choose. In the end, what matters is the meaning that you're going to give to it. And the meaning you're going to give to it is going to determine, if a Ku Klux Klan man came into the room right now, he probably wouldn't be thrilled to see me as the teacher. I don't know, it's just a wild guess. Okay, he probably wouldn't jump up and down. Okay, but there could be other people like yourself who come into the room and see me as a teacher and go, hey, this is cool. I'm appreciating that. Earl is neutral. What made the Ku Klux Klan guy upset? The meaning he gives a person with the color skin that I have. That's why all this legislature and laws and everybody's talking about the division and the racism and the separation and all this stuff that's going on right now. And they're trying to come up with all these outer things that we need to do to assure that people are treated fair, which I support. But in the end, you can't legislate how somebody feel about you. Nobody's going to love me who don't love me. Just because you pass a law that says that they got to sit by me doesn't mean they're going to enjoy it. Right? So the Course in Miracles says, why don't y'all get clear that with the way you feel right now, you could have $100,000 worth of debt right now and still be skipping down the street happy. It might be your creditor's nightmare, but you would actually be, you don't have to worry about your bills if you were willing to take 100% responsibility for what you do or don't do about them. So in the end, it always boils down to what? Self-responsibility. Right? So the Course in Miracles says that, here you go. Let's jump in it now. To heal is to make happy. To heal is to make happy. To heal is to make happy. So every time you're happy and every time you're making someone else happy, then you are healing. The Course in Miracles defines healing as the undoing of fear. So when it says healing, it's not talking about it necessarily in the traditional way we talk about it. I got a headache, I got a disease, and I got healed from it. That's not what the Course in Miracles is talking about, even though you can have physical healings as a result of changing your mind. What it's talking about is every time you are happy, it is undoing your fear, your anger, your guilt, and your sense of separation. My theory from working with people for years is that it's miserable people who make it hard for everybody else. Happy people, they don't have time to focus on what happened when they were 10 years old. The happy people don't have time to focus on the bike that they didn't get when they was 10. When you're happy, it's such a present moment experience that you're not thinking about anything else. That's what happiness puts you in the present moment. And gratitude always does, because gratitude is happiness. So if I'm sitting up here now and I'm very grateful that you all are watching online and also watching from in the room. Okay, notice that for me to do that, I couldn't think about this morning or this afternoon. To be grateful for you now, I had to be present. So whenever you want to become present and not be put your butt based on what you're thinking from the past or what you think may happen in the future, then all you have to do is go, what is it that I'm grateful for right now in my experience? What is it that I'm grateful for right now in my experience? Who is it that I'm grateful for right now in my experience? Because to heal is to make happy. So every time you are happy, you're healing. Every time you're happy, you're healing. So happiness is practical. And when we make things practical, we're much more likely to do it. It's the kind of shame you just can't say we should be happy for happy's sake. You gotta tell us a reason. You gotta give us a practical reason why I should work on being happy. So to heal is to be happy, and then the Course says, I told you to think how many opportunities you had to gladden yourself. And I want you to think of how many times you refused to make yourself happy. He says, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to think of how many times you've had the opportunity to forgive, or you've had the opportunity to let yourself have some fun, or you've had the opportunity to love somebody, and you just didn't. I remember a person saying to me so beautifully that the time that I'm spending in keeping a grievance going, is time that I'm wasting that we could be having a good time. That's why we want to get over this, because it's wasting time. We could really be enjoying ourselves right now. So think about how many times you've done that, when you could have just gone on and let it go, but you refused. And so the Course in Miracles says, then not only think about how many times you could have gladdened yourself and you didn't. It says, I also want you to think about how many times you refused to feel better. You refused the love. You refused being glad. And he said, now, when you do that, do you know what that is? He says, well, that's the same as saying, I have refused to heal myself. Every time I could have a good time and I don't do it and I go into judgment and criticism and depression, what I'm saying to you is I'm refusing to heal myself right now. I'm refusing to let myself be happy right now. What's going on with you, Earl? I'm refusing to let myself be happy right now. I'm refusing because I could be having a good time right now and I'm determined that I won't. You've all been at parties where there was always that one person, right? All of us have had that experience. I don't know if you have, but I've had so many experiences in my life where it would seem like all the right people were together except one person. It would be this one person that would be throwing a wrench in the whole shebang. Have you ever had that experience? And it's always one. That's what's so funny about it. It's not like it's usually two or three. It's usually just one. And then the part I used to make myself unhappy about, and notice I said, in those situations, what I used to use to make me unhappy about is I didn't understand why everybody wanted to change everything to suit the one person that doesn't want to do the thing that everybody wants to do. But I would see people do that. They would then tell the whole thing around the one person who didn't want to watch the movie. Everybody wanted to watch the movie, and there was this one person that didn't want to watch the movie, so everybody go try to find another movie that they could watch.
Sacrifice.
Right. And it'd be like, now, if you don't want to watch the movie, go somewhere else.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's my attitude. Well, nobody's forcing you to watch the movie. You can go. Matter of fact, I got 2 TVs. Go up in the bedroom and watch the other movie. And you're kind of like a little selfish so-and-so anyway. You ought to be the one saying, look, y'all, tell you what, that's not really my thing right now. So I want y'all to have a cool time. And I'm going to go into the other room, or I'm going to go out. See, that's what a conscious being does. An unconscious being, they use it as an opportunity to be special. Because now they've got everybody's attention focused on them, trying to please them. It had nothing to do with the movie. It had to do with I wanted special attention. And y'all are giving me the special attention. Everybody in the room is dancing. I'm the one that comes to the dance that don't want to dance. Right? So then I'm sitting there, and then I'm the one person that's not doing it. Well, guess what? That's going to give me more attention because I'm being different from the rest. So now I'm the special one. Everybody's, well, don't you want to dance? Come on, if you want to dance, don't you want to dance? No. You know. No, I'm getting what I want, which is the attention that you're giving me, because that's what we want. We want attention. We want to be recognized. We want to be acknowledged. I wish I had known the power of gratitude younger in my life. I can think of how so many relationships in my life could have been healed in 2 seconds if I expressed more gratitude for my partner, my friend, my mate, or whoever that was, instead of always pointing out the thing they weren't doing. Right? And so the Course says to heal to make happy. So what do I want you to do? I want you to think of how many times you had an opportunity to have a good time and you refused to. And then say to yourself, that's me refusing to be healed, which is the same as saying, that's me refusing to be happy. And then it goes, then they check out the next line. The Course in Miracles then turns around and says, the light that belongs to you is the light of joy. And radiance is not associated with sorrow. So notice it said, light and then joy, and then it switched over to radiance. So what it's telling you is that when you are joyful, you are radiant. A joyful person is a radiant person. A joyful person, that's the light. So when it says you are the light, it says you could be the joy of the world. You could be somebody walking around in the world that's radiant, means you could be walking around in the world joyful and happy. Then it goes on to say, this is the cool part about joy. Now, when you experience real love, the Course says you're experiencing joy. So when you say you're in love with somebody and then when they come into the room, you feel miserable, you're not in love with that person. You're not expressing love for that person. What? I know I love her. What you talking about? I've complimented her 900 years and I'm talking about her every day and what she's not doing, but I love that woman. No, you don't. You're not, I put it this way, you're not expressing love. You may say you love them, but I don't care about you saying you love me if you don't ever have any behavior that exemplifies it. What does that mean to me? So that somehow I'm supposed to be really great because you love me, but you never tell me, never show me, and never express it. So the Course in Miracles is saying when you feel joy, what happens? It says, well, your joy calls forth an integrated willingness to share it. So when you're really happy, you can tell because you want to share your happiness with other people. You want them to feel your happiness, see your happiness, know your happiness. It's impossible to have real happiness and want to keep it to yourself. Who ever heard of cooking the best cake and baking the best cake they've ever made and then go there and want nobody to have a slice of it? Usually it's just the opposite. When you cook your best cake, you go, you want a piece of my cake? You want a piece of my cake? You want a piece? Right? So when you really love something and it's really bringing you joy, you want to share it. So he said, so of course says, so when you're feeling joy, it makes you want to share it, and that promotes what? The mind's natural impulse to respond as one. So when I'm feeling good, I want to join with you. When I'm feeling good, I want to feel one with you. If I'm coming in and I'm feeling great, I want to feel one with you. I walked into this club to hear some live music a few weeks ago, and it was a real interesting place. It was a real cool place, but it kind of looked like it wouldn't be the place that you see somebody with my color skin in. Okay, it was like kind of like a country western kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? And so, but what was interesting was when I came in, this guy got up from the table and he said to me, because I have these hard glasses, but they're really eyeglasses, and he goes, what's your story? He said, what's your thing, you know? And he was at the table. I said, well, you know, I said basically, he said, those glasses are, that's deep, you know. I said, well, actually, it's just a reminder to me that I should learn how to look at the world through eyes of love, because there's so much separation going on right now. And he looked at me. He was like, you know, he looked like, you know, John Wayne, you know. And he looked at me, you know, and he grabbed me and he gave me the biggest bear hug that you could possibly imagine, and saying, hey, that's awesome, man. I want to try to be more like that myself one day. See, so if I had to judge by appearances, then I wouldn't have had that experience, you know. And if I had not told the truth, which was my purpose, it was simple. It wasn't weird. I just said, well, I really want to be more of an example of love. People understand that. They can hear that. That's not rocket science, right? And so my point is, because what happened? I was feeling joyful. I was feeling connected. I want to feel oneness. And what happened? We responded as one. Our joy made us respond as one. He wasn't hugging me out of anger. He was hugging me out of joy. And then his girlfriend did too. So that was the double test. You know what I'm saying? Give me the right meaning, buddy. Look at me in the correct way. It's so funny to me how some people don't even want their partners and treat their partners with love and compassion and desire, but then they get completely upset if it looks like somebody else is interested in them. Yeah. They become the most jealous person in the world. Now, it's been 2 years since you hugged her, 2 years since you told her how valuable she was, how important she was. But the minute you think somebody else has the slightest interest, then all of a sudden your territorial energy comes up and you're all jealous and upset. Why are you so jealous? Why are you so upset? Because you know you ain't doing right. So you feel vulnerable. And you feel like your relationship is vulnerable because in your heart and soul, you know you're not giving your partner the kind of love and respect they deserve. So that's why you feel anybody might be able to walk up and walk off with them. Because if you felt confidence in the love you have for yourself and confidence in the love that the two of you both have for each other, jealousy would never come up. Nope. Jealousy is the best way in the world to let you know that you're feeling fear of loss with that person. That's what jealousy is. I think I could lose you. If I knew I couldn't, I wouldn't be jealous. If I knew I was joyful, I just want to join. I wouldn't want to separate. So the next thing that the Course says, and that's why I say you could take one paragraph, and if you do one paragraph right and remember it right, your whole life would change today. If you would just take some of the things I've shared from the Course that you've heard me say since this class started, like you the one that's giving everything the meaning that it has. So you the one that's determining how you feel. But then common sense would say, what I need then is new meanings to give to everything. Then I would have a good reaction, right? Well, the book says I got these new meanings. They're right here in the book. I'll tell you how you should look at it to give you the peace you would like to have in that situation. But this is the catch, though. The catch is you're not going to believe what I'm telling you until you repeat it to yourself enough that you believe it. I'll say it again. I can tell you a new way to look at things. You can be open to it, but you're not going to believe it if you don't believe it unless you repeat it to yourself over and over and over again, because the way you feel right now is coming from something that was repeated to you over and over and over again. If you had a parent that told you you were stupid, you were stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid, and never tell you they love you, never grab you, never hug you, then why are you surprised that when you get older you think you're stupid and you think you're unlovable and you think you're not enough? It's because that was what was repeated to you until you accepted it as true. And when you accept it as true that you don't deserve love, then you're going to sabotage every friggin' relationship you get. Whether it's a relationship on your job, you get fired, or whether it's a relationship with a person. But why? Because if I believe I don't deserve love because I've been told I'm not worthy and valuable, then I'm going to validate that to making sure I fall in love with the worst person for me, and everybody that treats me wonderful, I have no attraction to. That's what you hear. I'm just not attracted. They're kind, they're calling me, they're sending me flowers, and they're polite, and they're being, but, you know, I'm not getting any play whatsoever. Well, you're giving them something that they don't think that they deserve from somebody they don't want it from. It's not really rocket science. You know what I'm saying? You know, because when you go after something with somebody that doesn't want to give it to you, the Course in Miracles says, that's the way you can know you're afraid to have it. Because if you really wanted to have something, you go to who would give it to you. If you're afraid to have it, you're going to go for somebody who's not giving it to you, and then you're going to keep on trying to get them to give it to you. Sometimes I've wanted the women in my life the most, who was the most out of reach, that I thought I couldn't get. That was the one I worked in. The one saying, hey, I love you, Earl. I love you, Earl. I want to spend time with you, Earl. What? Friend zone, 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 friend zone. But the chick that's got the restraining order out on me, you know what I'm saying? Oh, Lord, I want her so bad. I had to have her. Can you feel me? Anybody in here feel me? You know, if I'm afraid of intimacy, why in the world would I choose somebody who loved me and wanted me? Because then I'd have to deal with my intimacy issues. But if I want the person who doesn't want to give me love, I don't ever have to grow. I can just say, I really want to have a relationship, but I just can't find the right person. So if I'm joyful in my relationship, then it's going to bring up my willingness to share my joy with that person, and I'm going to want to respond as one with that person. And those who attempt to heal, those who attempt to make other people happy without being happy themselves, when you try to make other people happy, but you're not really a happy person yourself, what happens? He says you're going to call for different kind of responses at the same time. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen is, if you're really not a happy, loving person, but you're really trying to make other people happy, then he says sometimes they're going to respond the way you want them to, and sometimes they're not. Mm-hmm. You're going to call forth a variety of responses when you don't really love yourself the way you should. So what does that look like? Sometimes they treat me cool, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're glad to see me, sometimes they don't. Why? Because I'm a person who's not completely happy and healed inside myself, trying to make you happy. So if you try to make somebody happy and you're not happy, he says, well, what's going to happen is sometimes it's going to seem like it works, and sometimes it's not. It's right. Just turn it on down more. more because, the ghosts get all turned on when I teach. So they start flickering the lights and stuff like this, Oh my God. I hope y'all can still see me out there. Let me see. Because I don't feel like y'all just seeing eyes and teeth. That ain't gonna fly for me. Let me make sure.
The light of joy is temporarily.
That's what I love about iPhones. Look how bright that is. Even though it look like it's dark in the room. Okay. So when you call for different responses from people because you're not really happy yourself and you're trying to make other people happy, the Course says you are depriving them of the joy of responding wholeheartedly. Because when I'm coming from a place of wholehearted joy, they will come from a place of wholehearted joy. If I'm consistently loving you and being kind to you and caring about you, and I'm consistent, guess what? In most cases, if not all cases, you're going to do the same way with me. But if you're inconsistent, one minute I see you, you're glad to see me, and we're cool, we're having a good time, and then I don't know what happened, and the next time I see you, you're all moody and upset with me, and the next time I see you, you're all moody and upset, then the next time I see you, you're glad to see me. Well, you're going to be calling for different reactions from me. Just like I'm going to be calling the quiet because you're not joyful, thinking that I should be joyful. But you're not joyful. You're not bringing it out of me because you have no consistency. See, every question you ask, the Course in Miracles answers, but it says the reason why that a person don't want to listen to it is because there's something they value more about the way they already are, and they're not ready to change it yet because they're getting some kind of payoff from it. So if somebody gives you the way out of something and you still don't do it, you're getting a payoff out of the thing that you're in right now. If you're broke and you don't have any money, for instance, and then there are many books and many teachers and many seminars and many workshops all about how you could get rid of your lack and you could have more abundance, and you find yourself not doing any of those things other than complaining, what does that say? It says there's something about not having money that you value more than having money. There's something that you're getting some kind of payoff off of being broke, that you need to ask what that is. You need to find out what is the payoff that I'm getting out of putting myself through this all the time. And then the Course in Miracles says, I'll tell you. It's giving you that sense of separation. It's creating your feeling of specialness and separation, because he says we're going to get our specialness either through having the coolest, what we think of as the coolest experience that we could ever imagine, or we're going to give ourselves our specialness through having what we see as tragedies and conflicts all the time. But the key thing is I want to know I'm loved. I want some attention. I want to know I'm valuable. And I want to know that I deserve love. So the best thing you can do for your friends to help them attract prosperity and abundance in their lives is to constantly remind them of how valuable they are. Because if you believe you're valuable, you'll also believe you deserve to receive the universe's abundance. Because I'm valuable. I deserve it. So the Course then says, to be wholehearted, you must be happy. So if you're going to be wholehearted, you have to be happy. If fear and love can't exist at the same time, either you're experiencing love for me or you're experiencing fear with me, either you're experiencing peace with me or you're not, then the Course says it's impossible for you to be completely afraid and still be alive. That a person who is completely down to their core afraid does not feel alive or even express themselves as alive. And there's only one possible whole state that you could ever exist in, according to the Course, and that's the state of love. Love is the only thing that when you feel it, you feel completely complete and you don't feel like anything is missing. So actually, if you really love somebody, and it's going to be a deep one to ponder, if you truly love someone, you wouldn't miss them. Because if you were truly in love, you wouldn't feel any lack. And if you were truly in love, you'd feel your connection whether their body was around you or not. Then it goes on to say, I'm going to finish this paragraph, then I'm going to do a quick recap. This time always passes by so fast for me. For somebody, it may be holy torture, but for me, it's like pretty quick. Yeah, it's like, oh my God, when is this going to end? This is like the Ten Commandments. It's like, yeah, it's like, my God, this is the longest class I've ever been in my life.
I never felt that way.
Well, the just because you're enjoying it.
I do.
See, joy is timeless. So when you are happy, time completely evaporates. We all know that's true. You can be having a good time and you look at the clock and go, my God, 9 hours has passed by. Because joy is timeless. It's outside of time. You're in a whole different dimension when you're happy. But when you're miserable, like somebody, let's say somebody was here or listening to this right now, and they were miserable, they would be going, the last 5 minutes seem like it's been, what? Only 2 minutes to pass? We've all had that experience. Time slows down when you're sad. It doesn't speed up, right? So I've been doing this 40 years. It's brought a lot of joy in my life, as well as I've had my challenges to go through like everybody else. But it doesn't seem like it's been 40 years. It doesn't seem like it at all. I can't even believe that my age, the age of my body. It's like my life has been a blessed, joyful one in many ways. So it seems like time has moved really fast. Now I see what the Course says you have to that you have to link joy with eternity and eternal life, because if my life is passing by this fast because I'm feeling joyful, then I want to believe that there's a part of me that goes on beyond death. That appeals to me, And then people who want their life to last a long time, they tend to create a lot of pain and sorrow for themselves because it slows time down. When I was a kid, the summer vacation seemed like it lasted 1,000,000 years. Like a summer seemed like, oh my God, by September I was ready to go to school, right? Now a summer is just like that, a blip. So beware that the more joyful you are, the more you enjoy your days, the faster they're going to pass by. So what does that mean, Earl? That there is no difference between love and joy. Joy and love are the same thing. I love you means I experience joy with you. I love you means I feel happy when I'm around you and when I'm with you. So that means the only possible whole state is to be totally joyful. So where are we trying to head? To total joy. Joy used to sound kind of sterile to me. So I would say fun. Because joy, joy. Fun. Hey now, that's what I'm talking about. I'm glad to see you. Whoa. Yeah. The Course says we're going to get to the point that we see each other with such love that we will scarcely be able to refrain from falling down on our knees in front of each other crying because we look so good to each other. So when y'all come in here one day and I'm enlightened and y'all come in and go, oh my God. And then I fall down on my knees and don't say cult. All right? Because that's the catchphrase for anything I don't understand or agree with, and anything that's different. And help me if I'm in front of a person that's just being a real person. Like I'm just being myself, then that's when I seem the weirdest to people. They go, that was a weird guy. What? He was just being himself. Because we have what we call, the teacher roles, and how the teacher is supposed to look, and how a minister is supposed to look. And, we got all these rigid judgments in our minds about how everybody should be and how they should act. And when they don't do it that way, we can become frightened and we can become distrustful of what we don't understand. So we really try to convince ourselves, the Course says, we judge because we're trying to convince ourselves that we have the ability to understand what we're looking at. I went, what? That's deep. He said, yeah, that's why you judge everything, because as an adult, you're trying to convince yourself you know what's going on because it's too frightening to think you don't know what the hell is going on. So what you do is you pretend you know what's going on by judging everything and everybody around you, because then that gives you the ability to go, I know where that Earl's coming from. He's just doing this so he can get my money. Yeah, I'm going to go to Jamaica on $1. So, it ain't about the money if you're doing nothing spiritual in America. Okay? Let me just give you that hint right now. There's nothing more that regular people have more suspicion of anybody that's teaching love, peace, God, and spirit. It's okay for a football player to make $900 million a year. But you say you do what I do, and somebody share $5, people are, you're in it for the money. So we got the weirdest values, right? It's okay for, the athlete to make $900 million, but then I'm mad at a doctor for daring to make $300,000 a year. And he's saving lives. We got the most warped value system in our country. It's such a call for God. It's absolutely ridiculous. Teachers who are educating our children and affecting how they think, we don't want to make sure they really make a really good salary. And they're also doubling as babysitters in a lot of situations, right? Then everybody gets uptight about that. But then again, it's okay for a movie star to make $25 million for a picture. And then we admire them for that. And the Course in Miracles says, there's a very simple explanation as to why the world is the way it is today. And I went, oh, shoot, okay, I'm ready. He said, what did he say? Y'all crazy as hell. I was looking for this deep reason. Okay, God, come on. Tell me this. Y'all batshit. So crazy. That's why y'all treat each other the way y'all treat each other. That's why you're afraid of each other. That's why you don't take care of each other. That's why y'all judge each other. You're insane. You're insane. The aliens are not dropping people off. They're dropping people off. They're not taking them away. That's why as far as we look into the universe, we don't see any signs of intelligent life. That's why they're called intelligent life. They're nowhere near us. That's why we over in the corner in some obscure galaxy in the fringes of the universe. They put all the crazy souls on the same planet to learn how to love each other together. That's why we're here, is to learn to love each other, to treat each other right. That's it. That's it. So the Course in Miracles says you have to learn to laugh at this or it gets too depressing. Right? That's why I try to have some humor in what I do, because you just get depressed otherwise. And so the Course in Miracles says that to heal is to make joyous, which is the same as we are making, it is therefore the same as to integrate and make one. So when it says we want to be one together and we want to go toward oneness, it's saying we want to go toward joy and happiness together. I want the same thing you want. I want to be happy. I want to experience love and health and shelter and clothing. And we're not different. We're not different. You want to be able to walk down the street and be safe. I want to be able to walk down the street and be safe. You don't want to be judged for how you look. I don't want to be judged for how I look. You want somebody to care about you. I want somebody to... We are not different. And so, but what makes us be the way we are with each other? How we were programmed, how we were conditioned, and what happened to us in our past. It's just that simple, but it's not. Right? And so the Course says, and this is my last sentence in here, it's so good, if to make joyous is the same as to make one, that's why it makes no difference to what part or by what part of the family the healing is offered. Every part benefits and benefits equally. My happiness benefits you. My safety benefits you. My being able to eat, clothe, house, have a peaceful life benefits you. Because I'm one less person that you're going to have to worry about that may, out of fear or need, attack you, rob you, or do anything. That's at the physical level. This just one way as an example that my happiness benefits everybody. And the Course is saying, because we're one mind, also, whenever happiness is in my mind, it's also a part of your mind, because we're all part of the same universal mind. So what is the point? The point is, every time you allow yourself to be joyful and happy, that's not a selfish thing. That's a thing that's benefiting everything and everybody around you and creating a healing in your body. It actually makes your body more healthy when you're happy and when you're feeling love. So I'm going to do a couple of little quick recaps right at the end. What we're going to do right now is I am a full-time teacher of the Course in Miracles. I do it on a donation basis so that people can take part in what I do regardless of their financial situation. I don't know anything fairer than that. Okay? What could be fairer than I'm freely giving this and you can share whatever you like to share? I don't know what's fairer than that. Right? Okay, that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm trusting that. And I've been a full-time teacher living this way for 40 years. Okay, because once you know your calling, once you know why you're on the planet, then you trust that the universe or God or Spirit's going to be there through you. So I'm going to take care of that. And those of you, Mola, would you mind getting that bag up over there for me, brother? And you innocent, whether you share anything with me or not, it has nothing to do with your value. You're innocent. But thank you, those who do. And those online, if you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation or donation to my teaching ministry, I'm going to make it easy for you because I love you. You can use Zelle, you can use Venmo, you can use the Cash App, you can use PayPal, and all you need is my email address. And my email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. That's Purdy, earlpurdy.com. Thank you in advance. Thank you so much. Now, those of you who really want to go really deep and you want to take advantage of my 40 years of working with people and teaching this, and see how you can apply it to situations and circumstances that you're dealing with in your life. You got some block, some issue that you know you're tired of and you're ready to get beyond it. Well, you can schedule a one-on-one session with me that's called a clarity session. And you just go to my website, look under the clarity session tab, and it explains my services in detail. And you can self-book an appointment with me right there online. Now, those who have even more of a mystical, intuitive, open mind, I've also been an astrologer and a numerologist for also over 4 decades. And so those of you who would be also interested in having me do an interpretation of your chart that would point out to you your easiest, smoothest, most prosperous path through your experience, also incorporating these principles from a course, then I'm available for those who would like that and who are open-minded about it. So help is available. Always remember, you're not going to appeal to everybody. But those who you do appeal to and do resonate, you all can move so fast together because of your mutual openness and trust with each other. Don't spend 5 minutes trying to convert somebody else from the point of view that they really want and they insist that it's the right one. It's a waste of time. What is it? A waste of time. The time you spend trying to change somebody who doesn't want to be changed by you is a time the Spirit could have used you to be an instrument of change and healing for 10 or 15 people who are open and receptive to you. And that's why I always tell people, I'm not for everybody. I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. The Course in Miracles is not the spiritual path for everyone. I'm not a person that's saying, this is the only way. Run away from a person that says, this is the only way. You do it my way or you're doing it wrong. When it says there's one way, it's basically saying there is one truth. It's like there's one gravity, right? But there's many different ways to arrive at that truth. There's many different paths to get to the truth. It's like there were many different roads to this church, right? So I'm not saying you better just use cold facts or you're going to hell. Okay? It's like, cold facts is hell. Depends on what part of it and what time of day and how much guilt you have for being out there time of night and what you did. Yeah. So it's really funny. It's funny. So I just want to tell you that how much I appreciate you. Thursday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. I do my hardcore Course in Miracles. That's on Thursdays, especially for people who are studying the course, and anybody can watch. Sundays, 1 p.m. Mountain Time is this Course in Miracles Facebook Live with a live audience. Thank you for being here. I have a mostly live audience. And and I'm glad you're here. I'm totally glad you're here. And you're invited to come 1555 Race Street in Denver, Colorado on Sundays. It's been it's such a blessing to have you all in my life and to be open and receptive. And so share this video, watch it or listen to it at least 4 times. Why? Because it's through repetition that we remember ideas and we begin to accept them. And so You just heard a person who was absolutely advocating for your joy and your happiness, and why that would be a wonderful thing for you to let yourself experience. So if that is something that frightens you, and if I'm frightening you by saying you deserve to be happy, you might want to take a look at that. If I'm evoking distrust in you, and all I've said is you deserve to be happy and you deserve to follow your heart and what really works best for you in a loving, peaceful way, then I don't really know what to say to you. If somebody's saying that to you, is somebody you're most suspicious of, especially when it's nothing you have to do for them, I don't know what to say, right? So I just want you to know I'm thankful. I am grateful. You brought me joy. I was laughing while I was here. It didn't make me feel separate from you. It made me feel safe with you, and it made me feel connected with you. You know, I put it this way: I made myself feel that way through you. You know, I always try to preface when I'm upset. I go, I got mad at, hold it. I made myself mad at this person. I made myself feel angry. I made myself feel guilty. I made myself feel afraid. I made myself feel joyful. I made myself feel compassionate. I try to always preface whatever I'm about to say with I made myself do it. Because that's empowering me. That even if I'm angry and even if I'm upset, if I say I'm making myself feel that way, I'm expressing my honest feelings, so I'm not in denial. But at the same time, I'm not saying you're the one that's in control of my emotions and my feelings. So be aware that the next time you tell somebody how they are making you feel, because that's you telling that person, you have complete power over me. You got so much power over me that you can determine how I'm feeling about stuff. That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. So here we go. Give me a couple of minutes and then you can burst out of the door for your life. So these are the instructions. I always highlight the instructions. These are the instructions. Every time you are healing, you're being happy. Every time you're happy, you're healing. Every time you're happy, you're healing. Every time you're happy, you're healing. So you owe it to yourself to let yourself be happy. To let yourself be happy. Think about how many times you've had to make yourself feel good and how many times you refused. That's the same as saying you refuse to heal yourself. So if you're willing to heal yourself, the first thing you should do is come up with something that you know you love to do that gives you joy. That's what you do. You come up and you go, what can I do right now? What can I do right now that's going to bring me joy? What can I do right now that I'm going to give myself happiness with? Because that's going to be good for my body. That's going to be good for my emotions. That's going to be good for my mind. That's going to be good for my spirit. That's going to be good. That's what I need to do right now. What can I do? I don't care how odd it is. I don't care how silly it is. What can I do right now that I would really enjoy? Because you're tired of refusing to heal yourself. Do you know that every time you feel joyful, it's going to promote your mind's willingness to respond as one? And stop trying to make other people happy when you're not feeling happy and joyful and peaceful yourself. Because when you're trying to make other people happy and you're not really happy yourself, you're going to call forth a lot of different kinds of responses to you from them. And so you're depriving yourself of complete joy and you're depriving them from responding to you consistently in a happy way. There's no difference between love and joy. So if I'm feeling love, I'm not feeling anger at you right now. When I'm feeling love, I'm not feeling guilt, and you're not making you feel guilty right now. When I love you, I want you to have peace and joy right now. There's, according to this, that we don't have to believe, there's no difference between saying I love you and I'm happy when I'm with you. Do you know how to make the people around you feel innocent all the time? When you are happy around people and you're feeling great around people, they can't feel like they're doing something to hurt you if you're not acting like you're hurt. So the easiest way to show the people around you that you're not putting guilt trips on them and that you're not blaming them for what you're going through is you would be happy and peaceful in their presence, which is silently letting them know they're not hurting you as far as you're concerned. So again, your joy is practical. Your happiness is practical. But if you find yourself entering relationships and you're not receiving acknowledgement, you're not receiving joy, you're not receiving gratitude, then stop fooling yourself. You all are not experiencing real love for each other in that moment. And if you keep putting up with that and you keep hanging in there with that no matter what, then you are refusing to heal yourself. It's not their fault at that point. It's yours. You're the one that's keeping you in that situation and circumstance. You're not being weird when you say to a person, what can we do to recognize each other? What can we do to have more joy in our relationship? This isn't working. We're not giving ourselves peace. I'm on this job that I hate. What can I do? What is it I need to see? What is it I need to see different that would allow me to move towards something in my life that's more meaningful? You know, you're hearing in the news right now about what they call the Great Resignation. And they're talking about how many people are quitting their jobs and refusing to go back to their jobs. It's because they're believing they deserve to do things that move them, things that they feel appreciated for, that they're receiving a wage that they can live off of. What the people are seeing is people spend a lot of time during the pandemic looking within because they were dealing with their own energies and they weren't so busy, so they had a chance to really look at how they feel about their lives in the direction that it's going in right now. And they went, hell, I deserve better than this. I deserve more than this. I don't know what it is, but it's more than this. And so that's the thing. When you start to value yourself, you just won't put up with the stuff you used to put up with. You just won't do it because you love yourself. And then what happens? When you value yourself, like attracts like, the law of attraction kicks in and you start drawing people to you who also value you and also value themselves. Whoa! Do you hear me, brothers and sisters?
Yes.
Do you hear me? Do you hear me, brothers and sisters? Do you hear me? Oh, yeah. Last thing. Everybody benefits from your happiness and everybody benefits from your joy equally. So that means anybody else that's being happy today, having blessings today, that means you will benefit from that also. It works both ways. So you want everybody to have joy and to be safe and to be happy because that safety, that idea, that attitude is going to make you feel wonderful and peaceful and loving. So mighty companions, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming to remember with me. Thank you. If you're here for the first time, thank you for being open-minded enough to check it out. Absolutely. So, like I always like to say, in the end, may the course be with you. I'll see y'all next time, y'all. Give it up to you. Give it up to you. You all are cool. Please share this video and please invite other people to check it out. Hugs are available to those who like it. You can turn that light back on now. That'd be great. Thank you, mighty companions. Y'all awesome.